Hi, welcome to WriteToTop.com. I'm Adam, and in today's video lesson, what I'm going to do with you is I'm going to write a complete essay for the task 2 of the IELTS and/or TOEFL English tests. Now you're wondering, how can I do both at the same time? They're very different tests. Well, what I want you to understand about writing, especially writing essays, is that the approach, the way you're going to proceed from beginning to end, is more or less the same regardless of what test you're taking. IELTS, TOEFL, CAE, MELAB, TOEIC, all of them have the same approach to the essay. The only thing that's different, for example, between IELTS and TOEFL is the length of the essay. TOEFL is a little bit longer, and the time that you have to work with. TOEFL, again, you have 30 minutes. IELTS, you have 40 minutes to write your essay. So a little bit of time management is the only difference that you need to worry about, but that's down the line. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to take you from understanding the task to planning, to writing the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, okay? And I'm going to show you actually two versions of the essay I'm going to be working on. I'll show you a TOEFL length one and the same essay, the same question, IELTS version, a little bit shorter. So let's get started with the essay task. Many people believe that the increased presence of violence in films and television these days is responsible for the rising incidence of violent crimes among youths in society. They argue that governments have a duty to control the media so as to reduce this phenomenon. Do you agree with this argument? So first of all, you have to understand that you're going to face many different types of questions. Today we're looking at the agree-disagree question. I'll make other videos for different question types, but you should get to know these kinds of questions. Now, the key here is, do you agree with this argument? So the first thing you need to understand is that there are two parts to this task. The first part, starting many people believe until youths in society. What is this sentence telling you? Really, all it's telling you is some people's opinion. There's nothing to be argued against or for here, because you can't tell people that their opinion is wrong. That's what an opinion is. It's a belief, it's a thinking, it's a way of looking at something. And if somebody has this opinion, okay, they're allowed to, they're entitled to have this opinion. You're entitled to have yours. So the question is in the second part of the task. They argue that. So here they're presenting you, the test is presenting you with the argument that you're going to have to agree or disagree with, okay? They argue that governments have a duty to control the media. This is the actual question. This is what your essay is going to be about. It's not about whether there's violence in films and whether there's violence among youths in society. That's not the question. The question is, should the government censor the media to try to reduce this phenomenon, okay? So now we understand the question. Next thing we're going to do is plan. Now, I must tell you that I've seen many test takers read the question, they come to the test, they read the question, they start writing an essay. It's almost guaranteed that you will not get a very high score. Why? Because you're going to get lost somewhere along the way of your writing. You're going to lose focus, you're going to lose track of your ideas. You don't have your reason, so at the middle you're going to start thinking, and then your ideas are going to take a different path from where you've come from in the introduction and wherever you got to in the body. So very important that you plan. Now, part of the planning is, again, understanding the question. So what I do, this is the way I like to plan. You can plan any way you like. You can set it up any way you like, as long as it helps you once you're in the essay, you can go back and look at your plan and make sure that you're still on the right track, okay? I like to make a circle. I like to put my main topic, my general topic in the middle. If there's a subtopic, for example, violence, my main topic is government control. My subtopic is violence, so I put that in the middle. I take a minute or so, I think about words or ideas that I can think about, and I write them around the circle. And then I go to my actual question. Yes to government control, no to government control. Now, the key here is not to try to answer the one that you believe. Don't try to argue what you believe. Argue what comes to you first. Argue the ideas that are easier, okay? If you can come up with no reasons faster than yes reasons, then write them down, and that's going to be your essay, and that's fine. The graders, that these tests, they're testing your English. They're not testing your intelligence. All they want to know is that you can deliver an idea and you can make an argument in a clear and understandable way that any reader can read and understand, basically. So I went for yes and no, and I had more ideas for why there should not be government control or government censorship. So censorship is a bad thing. You can't control everything. Even if the government controls the media, it doesn't mean they're going to stop anything, right? There's jobs and education that came up as an idea, and parents' role. I forgot the S there, but parents are there. And this is where my essay is going. I have my main idea. I have my opinion, no, or my argument, no. I have my main reasons. Now I'm ready to start my essay. Now, another thing to keep in mind about this plan you should basically just translate into your introduction paragraph. Let's look at that. Okay, so now we're looking at the introduction paragraph. Now, the way I'd like to approach it is, first of all, you're going to have 3 to 4 sentences, and it doesn't matter what essay you're writing, it doesn't matter what question type you're dealing with. Answer these 4 questions in your introduction, and basically your introduction and your whole essay is set. This is the roadmap that you will provide the reader to follow your train of thought to the conclusion. Okay? In the body, you're going to obviously develop these ideas. So first, what is the topic? Now, when I say topic, keep in mind, topic and thesis, your opinion, are 2 different things. Topic is the general idea. So again, government control, that's the question. That's what we're looking at here. And violence, if you want to include that. So government control or society and violence. What is the actual question or debate? So should there be censorship? Should there not be censorship by government on media? What is my opinion? What do I think? And why do I think so? Now, a lot of other teachers will tell you have 2 sentences to say what is the question, what is your opinion, and that's it. The way I like to do it like this is to give you and your reader a roadmap, as I mentioned before. If you can answer all these questions and put them into a clear introductory paragraph, basically you're going to follow your own roadmap and not get lost along the way in the body. Okay? So let's look at each of these individually. What is the topic? Here's my opening sentence. Very general. Youth violence is a shared social problem. That's it. Am I giving you any details? No. Am I giving you any reasons, any opinions, any argument? No. I'm just telling you what the topic of this essay is. It's violence, social problem. Okay? Now, social already gives you the idea of you can involve the government. But again, I'm looking at the minor and I'm going to the major topic. Okay? Next, what is the actual question? Many people thus propose, they suggest, that governments need to tackle this issue, fight or deal with this issue, by controlling the media, whom people see as responsible for inciting this violence through films and television. So, many people think that the government should control the media because people think that it's because of the media that there is violence in society. Okay? Kids see things on TV, or youth, kids, same thing, see things on TV, they see things in films, they see violence, and then they go act out that violence. So we should control that, or governments should control that. My opinion. Now, ideally, you can combine your opinion and reason into one, okay? Now, when I say why, I don't want you to give me very detailed reasons. I want you to give me the general reasons that you will develop in your body paragraph. Again, by doing it here in the introduction, A, you don't get lost as you're writing your body paragraph. You already know what you're going to say because you said it in the introduction. And 2, or B, the reader knows exactly what is coming. So you get your flow is much better for the reader. So while youth are undoubtedly swayed by external influences, I disagree that it is a government's obligation to censor the entertainment industry. So first, the most important part here, I disagree that it is the government's obligation to censor. There's my opinion. Rather, it is up to society itself to handle the matter. Why is it not the government's? Because it's society's problem. Society should deal with it, not the government. Now, this is not telling you much of anything. It's telling you my opinion, my general reason. In the body, I'm going to basically expand. I'm going to develop both of these ideas. I've already given a little hint of what's coming. They are undoubtedly swayed by external influences, Many things control what youth do and think. Remember in my plan, in my reasons no, I said they can't control everything. The government can't control everything. There are many influences on young people. Now, another thing you want to notice here, I'm using some high-end words. Swayed, for example, is a high-end word. Censor is a high-end word if you know it. Before I used propose instead of suggest, I used inciting. These are all high-end words. Now, I know these words, okay? So I know how to use them. If you're not 100% sure of a word you're about to use, don't use it. Better to have simple words and be correct in your delivery of your message than have big words and make a mistake and not be clear to the reader. Okay, so now I'm going to show you both of the versions of the introduction. The first one, 67 words, I would use that for my TOEFL. And now here, because again, some teachers want you to have only 2 sentences, here's an example for the IELTS. Half the words, almost half the words, 36. Youth violence is a problem that many people blame on the media, which they believe should be supervised by the government. I disagree with this idea and believe instead that society itself should fix this problem. Am I saying anything different? No. I'm saying the exact same thing. I'm saying it very short. I'm going to spend more of my energy and more of my words in the body. Which way you want to go? Up to you. If you want to do the first one for IELTS as well, great. Make sure that you actually finish your essay in time. Otherwise, it's a bit pointless. Okay, let's move on to the body. Okay, now you're getting into your body. You don't need a transition for the opening body paragraph. Why? Because your introduction basically is the whole transition. You're introducing what this essay is going to be about. The body, you just dive right into your arguments. Make sure that your paragraph has an introductory statement, a topic statement, that basically gives the reader an idea of what this paragraph is about. And again, remember, one paragraph has one central idea. Make sure you don't go off on a tangent, you don't go completely random ideas. Make sure everything flows from beginning to end. Today's young people may be influenced by many things, from films to websites to their peers. So right away, I'm going to write to you, to the reader, about the different external influences on youths. Again, where am I going with this is that the media is not fully responsible. It's not solely responsible. There's lots of things that influence young people. So it is unreasonable then. So then connect this idea that whatever I said in the first sentence is unreasonable. Connects it to the next part. It is unreasonable to single out films and sitcoms as a main influencer of violence. So what am I saying? There are a lot of things that influence young people. You can't just blame out. You can't single out only films and sitcoms, TV shows, as the main influencers. In other words, so now what I want to do, I want to expand on this idea. I want to put it into other words to fully explain what I'm thinking here. Kids may see violence and kindness, greed and generosity, and all other human behaviors in pretty equal measure everywhere. So saying that kids only see violence on TV, but they also see romantic movies, right? They see comedies, they see happy people, they see generous people, they see kind people. It's not all about violence. A little bit of everything is everywhere. That's where I'm getting with this idea, okay? They can witness all of these things in one news broadcast or viral YouTube clip just as easily as they can in an action flick. So all of these emotions, the kindness, the violence, they can see it in a movie, sure. They can see it in a TV show, of course. They can also see it on the news. You always see things on CNN, for example, that are bad news somewhere. Somebody's killing somebody or some people are killing some other people. YouTube. Why did I put YouTube in here? Because I love YouTube? No. YouTube is a concrete example of where young people may be influenced outside of films and television. YouTube is the next media, you can call it that, but that wasn't really part of the question, was it? Okay. So YouTube is my concrete and action flick. I don't want to say movie again or film, flick. Casual. It's okay to use slang as long as it's appropriate to the dialogue or to the conversation we're having here. Therefore, I'm drawing a conclusion within my paragraph, okay, and I'm also linking my sentences. Therefore, blaming the entertainment industry is not only unfair, it is also wrong in that it ignores the root causes of certain social behaviors. So now I'm starting my move away from the entertainment industries, from the movies and TV shows, and I'm starting to look more at the social behaviors, okay? And again, why am I doing this? You'll see in the next paragraph where I change my focus. Certain social behaviors. So now my last sentence is basically tying up this paragraph and connecting the whole essay so far together. To suggest that the government can control this is to avoid taking responsibility for ourselves. So now I connect it all back to the government and saying that the government can't control what influences young people. This was part of my introduction. It's part of my thesis. And I'm preparing myself for the next paragraph, which is going to talk about what? Social responsibility, our responsibility, looking at the root causes of violence or other social behaviors. So right now this paragraph is complete. It opened up nicely. It gave the main meat of the argument, and it closed up nicely and set up the next paragraph. Let's look at that next paragraph. Okay, so now I'm looking at the next paragraph, and I put the last sentence of the first body paragraph here. I want to show you how I make that link, how I introduce a transition into my second body paragraph. This is key. You must have a transition to your next body paragraph because you are shifting focus. You're going to be looking at another part of the argument that you're making. You need to tell the reader that you're changing focus. How do you do that? With a transition. I used indeed. Now, indeed means I'm reinforcing the last idea. Other transitions are on the other hand, however, another reason, etc. Lots of different transitions. You should study those, but make sure that it fits what came before it, okay? So indeed, a government's role is not to act as parents to its citizens, but to maintain order and provide the tools for society to thrive. It should not tell people what they can and cannot do. So this is a bit of a long topic sentence, but it's okay in your second body because, again, I'm making the shift. So the government, to suggest the government can control this is to avoid taking responsibility. Indeed, it's not the government's role. It's not the government's responsibility to act as people's parents, right? So there's my link right there. I'm taking the last idea, I'm reinforcing it at the beginning of the sentence, and then what is my topic for this paragraph? People's roles and the government's roles. What is their duty, right? So their duty is not to act as our parents. Their duty is just to make sure that we have a good country to live in, a safe country, good infrastructure, good economy, all these things, okay? So the government should not tell people what they can and cannot do. That's not its duty. On the other hand, here I have another transition, and you're thinking, well, I had one before with indeed, right? Here, I'm shifting focus again, but I'm not shifting focus of the argument. I'm not talking about shifting away from responsibility. I'm shifting away from the who has the responsibility. So on the other hand, parents can and must oversee what their children are exposed to, be it online, in a movie, a book, or any other source. So what I'm saying here is that it's the parent's duty, not the government's duty, the parent's duty to control what their kids are exposed to. They can see violence in movies, but they can easily read about violence in books. Lots of violent books out there. They can see it on the internet. They have lots of access to violent images, violent text, violent anything, right? They can even be influenced by their friends who are not online, not on media, no control there. Consequently, means as a result, parents must decide whether they want their children to watch a horror film. So again, I'm putting a concrete example, horror film. The parents should decide if the child should see that, not the government. It is not for government to ban studios from making it. So a government can't tell the studio, oh, you shouldn't make this movie because this child might see it and act violently. No, the parents should just not let the child see the movie, okay? Now, whatever you're thinking, oh, parents have no control or parents this and that, this is not the issue here. You have a very limited space to make an argument. Don't worry about being intelligent. Don't worry about being, or obviously being a little bit intelligent, but we're not getting into a very detailed argument here. You're presenting an argument, you're supporting it, that's it. Again, remember, English test, not opinion, not intelligence test. Furthermore, now I'm adding something. Once we allow the government to engage in censorship in one area, it will be free to act in all spheres of our lives because negative influences are everywhere and have always been so. So now, if we let the government control one part of our life, eventually they're going to try to control all parts of our life. Because violence is not only in the media. They can control violence in the media, they can control violence on the streets, they can try to control everything, which we don't want to happen, okay? Restricting people's access to media will not stop violence. It's part of human nature. I didn't write that here, but we all understand. Violence will happen whether you see it on TV or whether you don't. Okay. In fact, it may increase it being violence as citizens begin to fight for their freedoms. So once the government tries to control everything, that's when people will start to become more violent because they will fight for their freedoms. If somebody's trying to take away your freedom, you're going to fight for it, right? You're probably going to be violent in doing so. So there's my body paragraph 2. I have the word count down there. You can look at that as well. Let's look at our conclusion. Okay, so now we come to the conclusion. The conclusion should be very simple, 1, 2 sentences at most. Once you get into your third sentence, you're already getting into trouble because there's not that much to say. All you want to do is restate your thesis, say again what your opinion is. Don't use I or me or my. You don't need to use the pronoun I again. Just come out and say the actual thesis itself, the opinion itself in a statement, okay? And highlight your reasons. 1 sentence, 2 sentences, okay. In conclusion, social behavior patterns are impacted by many things, including but not limited to media products, and society should take control of this. So again, I'm going a little bit backwards. I'm saying that society should control what we see, what kids see. Governments should not be allowed to restrict what film or TV companies produce. There's my opinion again. There's my thesis very clearly expressed. I've already given you the highlights because they will then have to spread their control to all areas of society. Again, I could shrink this, but I'm thinking TOEFL. TOEFL, more words. IELTS, fewer words. Okay, so now you've seen the whole thing. Now I'm going to show you 2 versions. I'm going to show you this essay that we have just gone through. This is the TOEFL length essay. Remember, TOEFL, you need more words to get a high score, so it's a little bit longer. I'm going to show you the full essay. You can press pause on your video player and read carefully through the essay. Then press play again, and you can see the IELTS version. There is the TOEFL version. You can press pause, read it carefully. We just went through this whole thing together, but this has 383 words. Okay, that's a good length for a TOEFL. If you can make that in the 30 minutes, by all means try to. Again, with TOEFL, more words does help. One of the graders for your essay is a computer, so they like word count. The other grader is a human, so they do balance out. But the more you can write well, the better. Here is the IELTS. 300 words, so 83 words fewer. Okay, but again, saying the exact same thing. Some shorter sentences, maybe I cut out an example here and there, but essentially it's the same idea. Okay, 300 words should be your minimum for IELTS. 250 words is your official minimum. 250 words, you're not going to get a 7.5 band. It's not enough to develop. It's not enough words to develop an argument, right? So when you're done with that, we're done. Basically, there's your full essay from beginning to end. This, of course, will get you a high score if you can write like this. High-end vocabulary, some good sentences, good sentence structure, sentence variety. You have your introduction, your body, your conclusion. You have your transitions, lots of linking words in between. All of these things are very important. Come back again soon. You're going to see a video on how I score an essay. I'll go through the process of showing you what test taker did well, what he did not so well, the score he got. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to edit it, but that's another video. Come back for that. I hope this was helpful to you. If you like this video, please give me a like on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's new, but it's gonna come a lot. It's gonna come with a lot of videos very soon. I'm gonna do regular videos. I'm gonna try to help you write better, pass your test. Even if you're not taking a test, writing is a tough skill to master, lots to learn, lots to practice, but you will get it eventually, okay? If you have any questions, please go to my website, writetotop.com. You can join the public forum there. If you have any questions about this video, please ask there. You know, talk to each other, help each other, answer each other's questions, ask each other your questions. I will also contribute, of course. And come back again soon, and I'll see you again for the next video. Bye-bye.